all for being here. My name is Dr. Caroline Taylor, and I am a chiropractor. And I practice at Whale Family Chiropractic in Fort Hope, and we have a second practice up in Millbrook. So I'm not here in Coburg, but I am in the Northumberland area. And we actually have quite a few Coburg patients, and even people from Grafton and things who drive over to see us. It sort of depends on who gets filtered our way.
Sorry.
So the title of my talk today is Do More of What You Love. And if you look on my banner by my booth or on the back of our business card or on our sign, it's sort of our tagline, do more of what you love. Because when we were thinking about what really is our main objective in our office, it's to get people back to doing more of what they love, because that's really what life's about, right? It's not about, there's tons of things we have to do, all the ought tos and shoulds and all the things we should get around to, but unfortunately we tend to whittle away our life doing those and don't have as much time and energy left for the things that we really love. So I wanted to sort of express today the role that chiropractic could play in helping people get back to doing more of what they love. And out of curiosity, who in here has seen a chiropractor ever in their life? 3. Who's currently under care? Just 1. Okay. All right. So that's good. So definitely some people who have never even experienced chiropractic, which oftentimes when I speak to people, it's about 50-50. Some people have, some people haven't. So I have a short period of time today. I won't be able to go into great detail, but I'll try and explain. The principles of chiropractic are very simple, so I'll try and explain them in a way that is meaningful and makes sense to you. Okay, so first question, I want everyone to think for themselves, what's the most important thing in your life? What really makes your life worth living? What activities do you like doing? What do you like spending your time doing? So just take a second and think about that for yourself. What comes to mind? Anybody?
Walking and playing with my grandkids.
Great.
Walking.
Walking, good.
Walking in nature.
Nature, beautiful. Anything else different? And everyone's different, so we're all unique human beings. We all have a unique set of values, and none of them are right or wrong. Like you'd meet, if we were downtown Toronto, we'd meet people who were highly career-oriented and maybe have big financial goals, and that might have been their focus. Or, women children and grandchildren, depending on what stage of life you're in. Some people it's nature, leisure time, time at the cottage, time going for walks, the ability to be able to go for walks. So we're all unique. We all have these things that we value. Some of us don't spend as much time doing them and as much of our energy doing them as we would probably like to. And if you had the chance to do more of those things, if you could have more time in nature or more time with your grandchildren, more time doing walks, could you imagine that would increase your perception of your quality of life? Yeah. So, and that's a lot what chiropractic is about as well, improving quality of life, allowing people to feel like they're really living, not just kind of surviving and getting through it. And it's almost the end of May, like it's crazy how fast time goes, right? Okay. So we all have a unique set of values. Oh, I've moved my pens already. We all have a unique set of values, and the more we get a chance to do them, the better. Okay? What impact do you think your health has on your ability to do the things that you really love?
Everything.
Huge, right? It is. It is. I would like to think about things as like a wheel, and if we imagine the different areas of life. Our social life, our family life, our mental pursuits, whether it's reading or, doing Sudoku or whatever we like to do. Our financial, we all have a financial life, our vocation or career, and that changes throughout life, our physical body, and our spiritual pursuits. We imagine those are 7 kind of key areas. Now this is not going to be a good circle. It's like a wheel, and these are the spokes of the wheel. Basically your health is at the center. It's like the hub of the wheel, and it has the potential to impact any and all of those. It's funny that I even when I was writing my talk, I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk about this. It is so self-evident. Everybody knows this. Everyone knows how important your health is to your ability to live your life, to make money, or to take care of your family, or to have time and energy for social pursuits or going to church or whatever's important to you. But I do because of what I'm talking about today, I do like to reiterate it, that this idea that health is at the center of it all, and if your health declines, oftentimes the first things that get put to the wayside are those things that we really enjoy. Because then you go into sort of survival mode, or if they have chronic pain and they have to still go to work or raise a family, at the end of the day they're drained and they don't have the energy to do those extra things that really bring a spark to life. So it's not a stretch to imagine that the healthier you remain, the healthier you maintain your body, the more energy you'll have to fit in those things that you love, that we talked about and that you thought about. Okay, that's the quick and easy stuff. So now we're going to talk about where chiropractic comes into all of this. So why, as chiropractors, do my husband and I believe that we can help people do more of what they love? And it all comes down to this level of health. And most people, especially people who haven't been to chiropractors before, believe that chiropractic is about back pain or headaches or neck pain, joints and aches and pains, and that's chiropractors fix backs. That's the number one belief that people hold. And the truth is that chiropractic is much more than that, and a lot of people are not aware of that. And I'm going to explain a little bit about that. Just making sure I'm on track with time, because I like talking. All right. So, first off, chiropractic is based on the principle that there's an intelligence in all things. There's an intelligence in all matter. Like in a tree, like you have a seed, no matter what type of seed it is, it will always grow the correct, you don't get peas growing out of corn seeds, you don't get, beeches growing out of acorns. There's an intelligence within living things that helps maintain their form, creates them, keeps them healthy throughout their life. Same with us. What chiropractors call that, the word we have for that, is innate intelligence. So this principle of an inborn intelligence within the matter of our body, within our cells, that creates us. Because anyone here who's had children or is around children, I mean, if you know what happens in utero as a baby is created, it's mind-blowing. And that process happens perfectly almost every time, as long as there's no interference. As long as there's nothing outside in that interferes with that natural process of creation, that baby is perfect and healthy 99.999% of the time. It really is. So that innate intelligence creates us, it maintains us throughout our life, and it heals us. And it's there from the moment you're conceived to the moment you are no longer on this earth. So no matter your age, or no matter your state of health, or how much pain you have in your body, we still have this resident inborn intelligence within us that is doing its best constantly to get us back to a state of health. I think because, especially North Americans, have in general such a poor state of health, we have this idea that the body messes up a lot, or that the body, we don't really have a lot of faith in the fact that our body is constantly striving inside here to be healthy. The natural state of humanity is health. We are born to be healthy. Our genetic blueprint is for health, not disease. And that's even despite what a lot of people are saying now about genes and people who have cancer genes. And it's almost like we're saying, well, the body's screwed up and nature is screwed up and the intelligence within us is messed up and there's a problem with it. And the truth is, it's genius, and it's unfortunately our conscious mind and choices which tend to have a negative impact on it. Okay? So this innate intelligence is within you. It's within all of us. It's constantly striving to make us healthy. There's lots of examples of it. Right now we're all sitting here. I don't know when the last time any of you thought about how many times you breathed the last couple of minutes, or how many times your heart beat, or if you had breakfast this morning, which nutrients you're digesting at the moment and assimilating into your body. We don't have to consciously think about that. There are like literally trillions of activities going on within our bodies right now, and our bodies, cells are dying and new cells are being born, and all of this happens under the surface without us having to have conscious input to it at all. And it's really, we're walking miracles. And I think it's very easy to not appreciate the body when the body is ill or when the body hurts and aches. It's easy to, oh, stupid headache and I'm so frustrated with my body and the limitations it imposes on our life and our lifestyle and ability to do what we love. But the truth is our body is a walking miracle. And the more we appreciate this principle of this innate intelligence and we acknowledge that we can tap into this at any time to improve our health and vitality, it starts to shift our thinking into more gratitude and appreciation for what we have, and that even that concept alone starts to improve your health. It's like a partner, a spouse, or a friend. If you don't appreciate them and you're kind of nasty to them, they tend to go away and not be friends with you anymore, whereas if you appreciate them, they tend to be closer to you and do things for you. Same with our body. If we do the right things to it, it really works for us. Okay, so innate intelligence, this amazing intelligence, needs a way to run the body. Chiropractors believe, and it kind of makes sense because of how extensive it is, we believe that the nervous system, our brain, our spinal cord, and all the nerves in our body is sort of the system through which the body talks to itself and sort of controls everything and does what it does. And the more you know about science and the way the body works, it makes sense. I'm just going to draw a little picture here. This is schematic. That's the brain. It doesn't really look like that. If we imagine our spinal cord coming off the brain, and there's a brain stem at the top, and we have a whole bunch of spinal nerves that come off. It's actually 24 pairs. These are not. Anyways, this is representing, we have all these spinal nerves that come off, all down our spinal cord, and then these branch off and literally go to every organ, tissue, and cell in your body. Every single cell in your body has nervous system input and output because our body has to constantly communicate with itself. There's a lot of things in, people have talked, you guys have heard of the mind-body connection, or mind and body are almost inseparable, pretty much inseparable. They function as one. So your nervous system is the way that the body talks to itself and the way that it makes it sure that it's functioning properly. There's this neat thing called the safety pin cycle. So there's a giant safety pin that's not for a diaper now. But if you imagine the top of the safety pin is your brain, and the bottom of the safety pin is any part of your body, there has to be communication from the brain to that part of your body, and from that body back to your brain. It has to be a constant flow of information back and forth, all the time. So for example, if I eat something, as I chew, my body has to be stimulated to say, oh, I'm chewing something, so I need saliva. So my body creates saliva. Okay, then I swallow. Oh, there's something coming down here, so my body creates the movement to put in my stomach. The stomach goes, oh, there's something in here. What is it? Oh, it's protein. Okay, we need more acid. The brain has to then send a signal to produce more acid, if it's protein, and digest meat or things like that. So there's this constant communication, body-brain connection that is happening, and it is so complex. We have no time to go into how complex it is, but the basics of it is that we have this constant flow of information, and that flow of information is vital to health. You can imagine that if we have a break in that communication at any point along the nervous system, no matter where it is, you'd have greater health or lesser health of whatever's at the other end of that nerve. Less. No brainer. Silly question. So you can imagine throughout your life, if you can maintain that connection, body-brain connection, back and forth, your innate intelligence has the best chance to communicate accurately and have the right things happen in your body. Okay. So, this is where chiropractors come in. Because chiropractors, a lot of people feel like we're about the spine, which we are, or just about the back or the bones, which we are. But the reason we are about the spine is because of this beautiful, amazing, complex system, the nervous system. Okay. So surrounding your brain is your skull, and then all down your spine, these little blocks are representing your vertebrae. So you have the bones down the back that protect the delicate structures. They protect, your nervous system is really important. It is the brain is the master controller and coordinator of all things that happen in your body. Because if you think about it from a medical perspective, when people's hearts stop, but their brain's still functioning, they're not officially dead. You're not officially dead until your brain is dead. Because the brain is where it's at. It's where everything starts and ends. And actually, it's needed in fetal development. The very first structure to develop is the brain, the nervous system. There's a little bump that becomes the brain and the spinal cord. And that is, it's before blood, it's before heart, it's before everything. Because it's where everything comes from and it's what runs the show. So, basically the vertebrae, what did I come over there for? So, you know, I have another spine model, and you'll see the other chiropractors have spine models, but, you know, we have vertebrae and discs and stuff, and their housing, this is meant to represent the spinal cord, and these are the spinal nerves, but we have, you know, a whole row here of these spinal nerves and the spinal cord down the center, and the purpose of the spine is to protect the spinal cord, but also to allow, if it was rigid and just a tube, we'd all be walking around like this, so it allows flexibility and motion, as well as protection. My son. He's probably going with my parents now. You probably want to say bye. Okay, so this is why, and we can see how intimately related it is, how closely related the spinal column is to the spinal cord and those spinal nerves. So this is why chiropractors love the spine, because we can have the greatest impact on the nervous system and the ability to maintain that body-brain connection. All right. So there's another word, chiropractors, why we focus on the spine is because so many people today have very unhealthy spines. And you can imagine the body-brain connection, when I disconnected that safety pin, when I opened the safety pin, there is something now interfering with that body-brain connection. What are some of the things that you guys think could interfere with your body, your brain talking to your body, or back and forth? I mean, you don't have to think just chiropractically, but anything at all. What could stop your brain talking to your body or your body talking to your brain?
Injury.
Okay, so an injury to what?
Your, not necessarily your spine, but to any part of your body.
Yep, because the nerves originate here, but they do go all the way out. So if I have an injury even to the tip of my finger and it cuts a nerve, I can have numbness or damage, and then now my brain no longer knows what the tip of my finger is doing. So I could be burning it, you know, in a fire or on a burner, and a physical injury or you know, a severing or a damage which causes nerve damage. The other thing are things like diabetes, which is very common. So if we think about diabetics, they get diabetic neuropathy, and that's a lot to do with blood flow to the nerves, and the nerves die. You know, so that the tissues around there are no longer transmitting the proper messages. So we lose the brain-body connection when something happens to a nerve at any point along the length of the nerve, and some of our nerves are pretty long. So chiropractors don't, I mean, if we think about the most sort of severe example would be a spinal cord injury. So if somebody has a major accident and they damage their spinal cord or sever it, depending on how high it is, up in the neck, if it's above the third cervical vertebrae, it's usually death. Below that, like I have a stepbrother who's a quadriplegic. Those are that's a severe and extreme example of how damage can affect the body's ability to function. On a much more subtle level, this is what chiropractors deal with. The word is subluxation. Subluxation. Rhymes with subway station. That's just a big fancy word. Anyone who's been to the chiropractor, have you ever heard the word? Awesome. Some chiropractors don't use it. They maybe think it sounds scary. The beautiful thing, why I love the word, is Dee Dee Palmer, who was Canadian, by the way, born between Cork Perry and Brooklyn, Ontario, which is awesome. He chose the word for what it meant when you break it down. Asian is condition of, sub means less than, and lux is light or divine light. So when somebody is subluxated or has a subluxation, their body is expressing less than optimal light or energy. There's less of a flow of energy. And that was in 1895 when he came up with that term. So I like it. I keep it. I say hooray for subluxation. It is a big word, but it's an important word. So this is where chiropractic comes into affecting your health through affecting that body-brain connection. If we get a subluxation, okay, so I'm just going to represent it here with a square at that vertebrae, okay, and the definition of a subluxation is just an area of your spine that is no longer moving properly and maybe misaligned as well. Usually it's in combination, but it doesn't have to be. So misaligned and doesn't have a normal healthy movement. What goes along with that is now there is an interference to that normal brain-body connection, that normal nerve transmission, that normal nerve flow, as well as the mechanical aspect of the subluxation. So the lack of motion actually creates toxic signals from the joints in that area that stimulates stress centers in your brain and puts your body in a stress state. And we know what stress, well, if I have time, I'll talk about what stress does to our health. But a subluxation is an area of our spine no longer moving properly and more than likely out of alignment. Truth be told, everyone in this room has subluxations. I have subluxations. I'm a chiropractor and I get adjusted regularly. Children have subluxations. Elderly have subluxations. The reason is our lifestyle. We can't get away from life. North Americans do this. Text, text, text. Drive, drive, drive. Sit, sit, sit. Walk around like this. We eat garbage food. Yes, sit up straight. I mean, I'm a chiropractor, and I'm still working on posture, and I'm still working on having, an optimal, healthy spine. And mine's pretty good, but I'm not perfect because, we accumulate damage throughout our life from our lifestyles, and we get subluxations not only from physical chronic postures or injuries and falls. We also get stress and tension in our body from huge mental and emotional stresses, which are a huge part of life in North America. I mean, who doesn't have stress? Everybody does. We all have stressful events happen, stressful things, creates tension, starts to distort the spine. I mean, I see a lot of children, so I see things happening very young. It's shocking to me. I mean, I have, when a 2-year-old comes in and you feel the muscles on their shoulders and you're like, I might as well be feeling this. You're like, a child should be supple and relaxed and healthy. And I think about my own son, and I feel these bodies, and I feel that even young children are under stress. So, okay, I'm getting off topic to a topic I love, but let me get back on point here. Okay, so if we have a subluxation, we're going to reduce nerve flow. We're going to reduce that nerve transmission. We're going to basically, subluxation is a cause of this. We break that normal body-brain connection, which we don't want, because the word adaptation, basically our ability to adapt to our world, to stay healthy, has to do with, can I pick up signals from the environment accurately, transmit them to my brain can interpret them properly, and then send out the right signal for the right action to accommodate to what's happening, right? Hand on a burner on the stove. Holy smokes, gotta get it off. If that doesn't happen, I get hurt, I get damaged. Stepping off the curb. I thought, I looked both ways, but all of a sudden there's a car coming. I have to respond appropriately. Oh, that's nice, buddy. Got a balloon animal. Bye, sweetie. Bye, baby, I love you. That's my highest value. That's why I don't mind when he interrupts. Okay, so on a more extreme scale, that ability to adapt to the environment is essential for survival, but it is also essential for health and vitality. Because on a small level, constantly, my body is adapting to its environment, it's adapting to what I put in it, it's adapting to what I'm thinking, it's adapting to what I'm feeling, it's adapting to how hot or cold it is, and my ability to adapt to my world and have my body respond appropriately is health. Because if your body can't interpret that a cell in your body is rogue and is getting out of control, and there's cell growth, and that's cancer, right? So if your immune system, we all have cancerous cells, it's whether your body's immune system can interpret them, get a hold of them, keep them in check for your whole life, which is a lot to ask, and that's why unfortunately 1 in 3 or 4 out of people will have cancer, because it's a lot to ask in the environment we live in, very stressful environment. Okay, so reiterating. We have this amazing innate intelligence in our body. It is a gift, it is wonderful, it is always working on your behalf. It is within your body for the whole time you're alive. We can always tap into it. It is always seeking to create health if we give it the right conditions. It uses the nervous system, the body-brain connection, to constantly monitor what's going on and constantly keep up with the demands of life and keep us healthy. If we have injuries or damage, or from a chiropractic perspective, subluxations, they reduce the ability of the body to communicate, reduce nerve flow, cause damage, and it can be acute, like brand new, or it can happen slowly over time, this is a subluxation degeneration model. So essentially, it's going from healthy to degenerated, and you can obviously see you get changes in the disc quality, the disc height, and not only that, but if we go to the nervous system, if you look at the thickness of the spinal nerve here, and then someone who gets to here, you can see it's really thin, it's degenerated, it's not functioning. You can imagine, if you had a choice, even little kids come in, 3 or 4 year olds, they're like, ew, I like this one. It's like no-brainer. We want a healthy, vital spine. We want, good, tall discs. We want nice and open spaces for our nerves to flow through so we can have that body-brain connection and we can stay healthy and vital. And obviously we want to stay away from this as long as possible. So what chiropractors do is we provide adjustments. This is the main thing. We do other things too. We provide chiropractic adjustments. The goal of a chiropractor is to locate the subluxations in your spine, locate the places that aren't moving properly and that are blocking the normal healthy function of your nervous system, and to adjust them, to put motion, and there's different ways of adjusting. I tend to be mostly hands-on. I sometimes use a tool. There's chiropractors who use very light touch. There's all strokes for different folks, which is great. I love that because it's not for everybody. Sure, I'm almost done. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you. So the purpose of the adjustment is to reduce or eliminate subluxations. Sometimes people at the end of that scale, we're never going to get you back to square one. You're never going to get back to perfect. But we can reduce them, minimize their impact, start to allow the body to function better. So if you had, an 80% reduction in nerve flow, if you could get to only a 50% reduction, that seems better. Your health would likely improve. You'd have better function. If you could get to 30%, only loss of 30%, any degree of gain is in your favor, okay? So the adjustments, no matter how they're performed, are designed to restore normal, healthy motion and position. The only thing I don't like to say about position is your back doesn't go out and chiropractors push it back. That's very crude. It's much more subtle than that. When we adjust the spine, we are stimulating the nervous system, we are stimulating the joints. We are sometimes, depending on the style of adjusting, breaking down patterns of scar tissue and restrictions that have happened. If somebody sits at a desk for 30 years, their spine is a certain way and very locked. So the adjustments are designed to open up the body, open up the spine, create normal motion, and the body will put it back in the right spot all by itself. It wants to be there. It oftentimes is just restricted by what we've done to it. So the adjustments are designed to get rid of this yucky subluxation and restore it like a normal, healthy motion and position to the spine. Thereby, when we do the adjustment, it's all focused on this. Boom, reconnect you to you, reconnect you to this amazing intelligence inside of you, so that you can be a better and healthier you. So your brain can interpret what the heck's going on down here. Why is my digestive system not working? I mentioned about the stress. Because the subluxation stimulates the stress centers of the body, I will just super quickly say this, because it goes up and stimulates these stress centers of the body, our body has a natural reaction to stress, no matter what the cause. Whether it's someone screaming at us, whether it's we're worried about finances, whether it's our own health, whether it's whatever marital issues, any source of stress, including subluxation, has the same exact response in your body. The stress response has like increased blood pressure, increased heart rate, increased cortisol in your blood, increased glucose, and then therefore increased insulin, decreased immunity, increased HDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, and decreased LDL cholesterol, because and I can't get into why, but there's a whole cascade of events that is this innate intelligence. It's actually an intelligent response because it's designed for survival, but we live in this stressed out state, so our bodies become unhealthy slowly over time with this constant barrage of symptoms and changes because of stress. One of those stresses happens to be subluxation. So the chiropractor not only helps the spine be healthier and reconnect body-brain communication, but it also lowers the stress levels inside the body through restoring normal motion and removing those sort of toxic signals that happen that stimulate the stress response in your brain. Okay, I think I've covered everything. I'll just wrap up. Basically, I just actually heard this recently, this little, I thought this is a beautiful summarization of what chiropractic is. Chiropractic is a unique, drug-free, gentle, safe, common-sense form of natural health care. Its goal is to keep your nervous system functioning at 100% and thus optimize your body's innate natural healing ability, and to achieve and maintain optimal health by replenishing optimal nerve flow and maximizing your brain-body connection. It is very simple. Our body's designed to be healthy. Chiropractors are here to restore that normal, the body's normal ability to be healthy. And I really hope that if you're not under regular chiropractic care, that you will go and find a chiropractor near you who you resonate with. I mean, that's what, our bottom line is not all about coming to see us. We would love everybody to be checked and under chiropractic care. So find a chiropractor, get your spine checked for subluxation. I could say see if they're there, but I know they are. and get adjusted and see how it can impact your health. Because, I mean, you can talk to any of us as well. There's a huge list of conditions that resolve through chiropractic care. But it's not because chiropractic cures them. All chiropractic does is allow you to be healthier, allow your body to express more health through that normal nerve flow, and things just take care of themselves. It's the innate healer inside you that does it, not us. And that, by being naturally more healthy, strengthens that center of that wheel, allows you time, energy, resources, even confidence to go out there and do more of what you love. So I hope you will, after today, get your spine checked, go to a chiropractor, and find ways to do more of what you love. Because I really love what I do. I feel like it's a privilege every day that I'm in the practice to see people transform their life. They get back to living, really living. And people are so thankful, and they say, why didn't I do this 10 years ago? You know, we have people in their 70s or 80s getting back to golf or hockey and things they never thought they could do again. And the joy comes back into them, and it makes those years of your life, instead of just years in your life, it's the life in your years, right? They say. So that's what chiropractic is about to me, and that's what I hope I shared with you today. And I thank you very much for listening.